Welcome to the ACES and Sciences Career Fair Workshop Series. This is the last workshop in our series entitled How to Work a Career Fair. Today we have with us Don from CGB, Zack from Dow AgroSciences, Derek from Farm Credit, and Tracy from Whipples. And they're going to talk to us today a little bit to give you guys some advice on how to best make an impression at the career fair. So what we have prepared for you are, we have a few questions that we have put together to ask the panel. But along the way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and ask any questions that come up. So the layout of today, the format for today's workshop, we'll have the panel for till about 6 o'clock, and then you guys will have the opportunity to practice introducing yourselves to recruiters who will be at the career fair and get some feedback. So you'll have about 5 minutes each with them, and then immediately get some immediate feedback on your pitch. So I'm going to first let the panel introduce themselves a little bit further. If you guys wouldn't mind saying your names again, give us a brief description of your company and potentially what kind of positions you guys are hiring for or what types of majors and students that you're looking for.
Great. Hello, my name is Don Smolek. I'm the General Manager of Recruiting for CGB Enterprises. That stands for Consolidated Grain and Barge Company. We're predominantly an agricultural company in grain export, crop insurance, ag lending, fertilizer, feed ingredients trading, all that type of thing. And then we also are in terminals and logistics, handling industrial products for other companies. The company is growing since 2000. We've gone from 600 employees to 1,600 employees. And we've been very entrepreneurial, expanding our businesses from 3 divisions in '97 when I joined them to 8 divisions today. Japanese owned, so we have 2 Japanese owners, and but our main focus is in agriculture. We're the 3rd largest grain exporter of grain out of the U.S. All of it coming down the river systems and loaded out of the Port of New Orleans. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zack Ferguson. I am a sales rep out of Central Illinois for Dow AgroSciences. Dow AgroSciences is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Dow Chemical Company based out of Midland, Michigan. Our home office, global headquarters in Indianapolis. We have multiple sectors of our business, from seeds, traits, and oils, to crop protection, to urban pest management, turf and ornamental, anything that really deals with agriculture, as well as into some urban pest stuff, IVM, highways, stuff like that. As far as growth-wise, I think everyone here will back us up as far as growth in the agricultural industry right now is unbelievable. Our company, just on my perspective here, we are seeing close to 50% retirement or eligibility from both field sales all the way up to upper management in the next few years. What that translates to is a lot of job opportunity. So I hope you guys will all be sure to stop by our booth next week at the career fair. Thank you.
Evening. My name is Derek Weber. I'm Vice President of Marketing and Business Development for First Farm Credit Services. I work out of Normal, Illinois. A little bit about the farm credit system. It's a system that was started about 100 years ago. Actually, we'll celebrate our 100-year anniversary in 3 years in 2016. The Farm Credit Network makes up, there's roughly, I think, 84 farm credit associations across the country. We are one of 2 in Illinois. My association takes care of the northern 42 counties in Illinois, and Farm Credit Services of Illinois, which is based out of Mahomet, will take care of the southern 60. If you combine the 2 to look at Illinois, we're roughly a $9 billion organization when it comes to assets owned and managed. Our core business is agricultural lending, and so whether that be real estate loans, farmers and investors looking to buy farmland, or other operating expenses or short-term lending for equipment, machinery, things like that. That tends to be our core. Similar to what Don referred to, we have a variety of businesses though, crop insurance, appraisal services, even partnerships, ironically with...
Hi, I am Tracy Kometz. I'm the Human Resources Manager at Whiffles Hybrids. And Whiffles Hybrids is located in Geneseo, Illinois. We are one of the largest independent, family-owned corn seed companies. And what we do in Geneseo is we actually develop, produce, and sell our corn hybrids in Illinois, Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and the Ohio River Valley, which is part of Kentucky and also in Tennessee. We have just over 100 employees. About half of them are involved in sales and marketing. And that ranges from a marketing coordinator to district sales managers selling our hybrids. We have experienced some growth in the last few years also. Our goal is to double our sales team between now and 2020. Our career fair experience, typically we are looking for summer interns. We are looking for some entry-level positions in our sales department. And we also do have some positions for internships and potential long-term positions for those folks who are in their degree in some sort of a master's or doctorate degree program, because we have a research department, so we do hire folks with advanced degrees in agronomy, plant breeding, and so forth. So glad to be here, and hopefully we can help you prepare for next week. Thanks.
All right, that's a perfect segue. So next week is actually the ACES and Sciences Career Fair, which will be October 3rd from 1 to 5:30. And all of these companies have generously sponsored this event so that we can provide this great opportunity for the students every year. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Can we start with, can you guys give us an idea of how can students make a good impression when they come to meet you at a career?
To me, number one, be yourself, but also come prepared. You're going to pick target companies that you're going to be most interested in, and do a little research on those companies, know a little bit about the jobs that they're offering, and dress professionally. And for guys, usually a suit, and ladies a bit the same. Business dress. Have a smile. Look people in the eyes, and everybody's nervous, but kind of use that energy to push yourself to get started and just talk to people and go from there.
Echo what Don said. I think the biggest thing is with the career fair. I mean, I know it's nerve-wracking. You got a lot of opportunities in front of you, but have fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun to go around and meet a lot of different people. It's a great networking opportunity. Like he said, research what you're looking for, have a goal in mind on each individual you talk to, map it out before you walk into that career fair, know where each booth is that you want to go and kind of work your way around. If you don't get to meet with the individual you want to right away, they'll probably be there later on, so don't feel like you have to rush through it. Enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the only other thing that I would add to this would just be relax. You know, it's easier said than done, obviously, but that'll make an impression. If you're confident, if you're relaxed, if you truly want to engage and have a conversation, that's great. I can't stress enough, like these gentlemen said about being prepared, but don't come regurgitate my website to me. A lot of us wrote that website. We know what it says, you know, but you know, be honest, ask questions. If you don't know a lot about the company and just a little bit, that's okay, you know. Ask questions, be genuine, and relax, and get to know the folks you're interacting with, and that'll make as good a impression as any. People will recall as they're flipping through resumes or whatever at the end of the day about, you know, the conversations they had.
And I would, again, just echo everything that's been said. I would say my key is really to be prepared. When I help people train for interviews, which a career fair is similar to an interview to some extent, you do want to kind of make that first impression, so you really want to have your homework done. I agree that there should be one thing that maybe as you decide who you're going to be speaking with, that you understand about the business that you're approaching. So something that you can kind of key in on, again, don't regurgitate the website, but if there's something that strikes a chord with you that you want to talk about, that's always really helpful to help us remember who you are and what you're looking for.
What are the best things to include in an introduction?
We'll go this way. First of all, a really strong handshake. Not real desperate, but a really strong handshake always makes a good first impression. Another thing that you want to include is make sure that your name, you enunciate it clearly. A lot of times at career fairs, we meet a whole bunch of people. It might be noisy. There might be lines of students waiting to talk to other folks at the booth. So just really enunciate your words as you're talking about what your name is, what your interests are. That help? Okay.
Don't skip over the obvious either. I would say, hey, I'm Derek, I'm a junior in ag economics, looking for an internship this summer is a great way to start off, because now I know a bunch of key pieces of information already to know, okay, hey, yeah, we could have a conversation, or, maybe this isn't the right fit. Don't take that for granted, I guess, that it's on your resume and, it's a quick couple of seconds that can kind of kick it off there. A lot of folks will get nervous and they'll go straight into their elevator speech, so to speak, and talk about projects and whatnot, and I'll be sitting there wondering, okay, I don't know if this is a sophomore or a grad student or, who I'm talking to at first, so don't forget the obvious ones too.
Yeah, just to echo what Derek said, just name, where you're from, your major, what you're looking for, and don't feel like you have to just pour right into your resume and start spitting out what you've done in the past and right off the bat. There'll be some interaction, so I wouldn't rush it, but definitely include the basics like he said.
I think they covered it well.
All right, great. What things should they be sure to bring with them?
I don't think it takes much. Bring your resumes. Don't skip on that. You don't want to run out and have to run back to your room and lose valuable time with companies. And maybe a folder to keep your resumes in on one side and the pieces of information that you're going to get from the different companies on the other, just to help you stay organized. And a pen when you have to write. It's just that simple, I think.
Yeah, I think one neat thing that I used that was really beneficial was a pad folio. You've got that paper, so when you do hand out your resume, you walk away. Don't make the mistake to jump into the next guy and start asking questions or the next booth. Take notes after the call, the call. I'm in sales mode. I'm in sales mode here, sorry. Make sure you take notes after you talk to that company or at that booth. Just don't go jump into the next one, because you're going to get to the end of the day after you visited with 10, 8, however many companies you decide to talk to, and you want to be able to remember things for when you do get an interview. You know what you talked about, you know what positions they have available, and where those positions maybe are located or what they entail. So notes is always a good thing. So I always brought a pad folio. It had a nice little area that stuck my resumes in. Pull them out, leave them, and then make sure you write the name and the person and the things you talked about down in your pad folio when you leave.
How do you feel about students jotting down brief notes while you're talking to them? Is it
I think now that you mentioned, I know some people have done it while I'm talking to them. It's never been an issue unless they're writing out everything longhand and there's too much time in between. But if it's a normal conversation and they're jotting down quick notes that help them remember what we've talked about, I've known that they've done it and it's never bothered me.
Kind of a combo here. What types of questions should should students prepare to ask you, and what questions should they not ask you at the career fair?
I would say be prepared to ask questions about what your interest is. So if you're looking for an internship opportunity or a full-time position, first ask what's available, and then if you have, we will have job descriptions for you to take a look at. So any question that is about what's required of me, what are the dates of employment, when are you hiring, things like that. There are certain confidential pieces of information that we would most likely discuss in private, things like compensation or benefits, your pay would be included in that.
Yep, I would agree. I would say things to stay away from would be, the things that Tracy referred to. You don't want to come across as you're just looking for a paycheck or, how much vacation time and things like that. Kind of going back to what I said before, just be genuine and the things you want to know about, hey, what are some of my responsibilities going to be? What are some of the experiences that would be beneficial to bring to that we're looking for, to bring to the table, things like that.
If it was I'm sorry.
No, I'm
If you're talking to a younger person in the company, what you might ask is, obviously you just started this company, what do they like? Kind of get them off the side and be able to chat one-on-one with someone that's just been where you're sitting today. If you're talking to somebody older, you might ask about what's the growth of the company. Does growth means opportunities and ability to move up in a company? You might ask about turnover. Are they the kind of company that rides pretty rough on their employees and there's a lot of turnover, or the type of company that's more of a family team atmosphere where people tend to come and stay? So those would be some of the other things that if I were sitting in your shoes, I'd be asking.
All right, so on the flip side of that, what types of questions should they be prepared to answer from the recruiters?
The first thing that comes to my mind that I always look for is I want specific examples of things you've done. It's great to talk about in theory, how you would react to a situation, but it's better, past behavior is usually a pretty good indicator of future performance. And so come with a lot of examples, think through, and it doesn't always have to be work examples. A lot of times, folks haven't had internships or work experiences. That's okay. Talk about projects, talk about campus involvement, talk about different activities you're in, things like that. But be prepared, whatever they throw at you, to try to cite an example of a time you've done that or had a related experience. And if you don't have anything, don't fake it. People will tend to see through that. Again, just be honest and, hey, I've never dealt with anything like that specifically, but I've had something somewhat related or so forth.
Yeah, one thing specific to, I guess, the company I work for, one thing that's a lot of times asked is, are you able to relocate? Are you able to move? Is there anything tying you back to home, or are you able to go and pick up and move to New York? I mean, situations like that, are you in businesses that have, or companies that have a lot of different segments, are you tied just to the seed side? Can you work in crop protection or insurance or things like that? Kind of have an idea on what you want to do, and it's okay not to know. It's always a good answer to be, I'm open to things, because that shows a lot of things about you. But if that's not what you are, definitely be yourself. That's the key.
Be able to talk to why you're talking to me, what job you like in our company, and why you've picked our company and specifically out of that industry. So, and that goes back to the research that you would have done ahead of time and have a feel for why you picked that company.
So how can the students find out if you're conducting interviews in the following day, and how might they get added to that interview list?
I would say the first thing that you need to do is ask us if we are conducting them, and then typically what we do is, if you're interested in participating in an interview, we will gather your information, most likely your phone number on your resume, if you have the resume, and then we will let you know, typically by the end of that, the career fair day, if we're going to call back for interviews.
Yep, I would say definitely ask. You won't know unless you ask, but don't ask, can I be added to the interview schedule? It's a busy time, and it's tough as a recruiter you don't want to pull your schedule out, because then, everybody wants to sign up for it. But I think the question was worded appropriately when asked to us of, hey, how do I get on the schedule? What are you guys looking for? What's your process? And the recruiters will walk you through it.
If the student has met you before, is it a good idea for them to bring that up at the career fair when they talk to you, or is that awkward?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's me, I'm great with faces and terrible with names, and so the more you can remind me of a past interaction, that's going to be helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yep, same.
Great. How do you suggest bringing up skills without sounding overconfident or like you're bragging?
You're making a sales call. And there's no way for anybody to know what your skill set is and what you've accomplished, and unless you're willing to tell it. Just be yourself in the way you present it, and don't try to oversell it, undersell it, just what's normal for you. If you're an aggressive person that puts it out there, that's fine. And if you're laid back, still let me know, because this is actually the one quick shot you've got at about 20, well, I don't know, here in Illinois, a lot of companies are here, and they all want to talk to you, so be able to tell what you've got, because the guy ahead of you and the gal behind you, they're going to be doing that same thing. So let us know.
I think that being able to relay your skills and some of your past experiences is going to come in many different ways depending on how the elevator speech ends and the questions that are then the interaction, how it goes. One of the best opportunities is when they ask about past experience. I wouldn't just bullet point your resume and say I worked at X company, B company, C company. It's, well, I worked at X company and I did this, or this was my responsibility, or see, these are some of the things I accomplished or was in charge of. They don't have to be long, but being able to relay some of those things as you work through your resume and those skills and experience is a good way to kind of showcase what you've done.
As far as while we're talking to you and explaining different things, how, if you guys get bored, what's one thing that I can look for in, like, I need to move on from this topic or something like that?
That's a good question.
I'll probably work in a thank you. When you take a breath and ask something else.
Right.
Yeah, because it's a conversation.
All right, can you guys give any examples of a really good career fair interaction that maybe a student that you recall that stands out in your mind?
I have one, and it's a multiple year experience. The young man came up with a big smile, stuck his hand out, and said, "I'd like an internship." And he did it 3 years in a row. He was a freshman the first year, a sophomore second, and a junior the third. For those of you that might be younger, get that experience, get out there, be able to do that, and then as you get to be your junior year for an internship, or maybe even sophomore, but it becomes old hat to you. And we hired him as an intern last summer, and he's now a full-time employee with us starting in May. Go after what you want. Yes?
With that, is it okay for a freshman to come up to you during the career fair?
Absolutely.
I would say judge it by the length of the line. If somebody's got a big line, if it's a John Deere or sometimes a Dow or a Pioneer, and they're really stacked up, you can spend your time with people that are less busy, because we're happy to help. Have your resume with you. Yes, it's just going to have some high school stuff on it, maybe a little bit of what you're involved with at the university, but we're happy to look at it and talk about the form and the and the approach that you use in presenting your points that'll help you for the future. I've always been delighted to do that if we're not really, really busy.
Again, an example I would use would, in my the company I previously worked for, doing some recruiting, and a student that just wanted to learn more about the company, didn't know much about who we were and what we were doing, and similar to what we talked about, came up and was just very genuine, asked a lot of questions, and it turned into a situation where, without me even knowing it, it almost flipped. I realized this is a great student, and now all of a sudden I'm trying to impress him versus him trying to impress me, because hey, I want to get him on the interview schedule. And similar to Don's story, came on as an intern, and then a year later came on as full time. But it started as a very simple, honest conversation of, hey, I'm not real familiar with what you guys do. Tell me a little bit more about it and why you're looking for my major and things like that. And, just kind of developed that way. But a big thing was it was relaxed, it was genuine, and, it worked out for everybody.
I think Derek makes a good point when he says we are as much wanting to impress you as you are wanting to impress us. So I like that point. That's a good one to keep.
Okay, as a graduate student, should they seek out a particular recruiter or just wait in line and see whoever is available?
I think as a graduate student, just how booths run, I would just get in line like normal. They will direct you to that individual, especially if you're wanting to go into research. I know we'll have people from commercial operations, R&D, so you'll come through and it's just a filter system, and it kind of sounds bad, but when we find out exactly what you're looking for, if you're looking for R&D, if you're looking for commercial or seeds or traits or operations, whether you have a master's or undergraduate degree, we're going to filter you to that person that is best to talk to you about it. It may be another line, but we will be sure to get you to the right individual.
I would say be patient. I was glad he threw it. It may be another line. You know, it may be frustrating. You may wait 15 minutes and finally get your chance and then realize you're not talking to the right person and have to wait another, 10 minutes or so to talk to, the right person there. But it's, as you guys know, or if you don't know, you'll experience it. It can be chaos there. And, it's just everyone's trying to get through the process. No one's trying to be disrespectful or put you off. It's just a matter of, moving through.
Okay, one last question, but as we're running out of time. If they're running out of time at the career fair to speak to you, is there a way to politely let you know that they would like to talk to you if they could?
I would probably say if we're running out of time, bring some paper, pen, jot your information down. Maybe if you have a specific question or a specific topic that you would like to discuss, hand it to one of those persons that are at the career fair. Excuse yourself if you need to interrupt to a conversation. Hand them the information and say, can you please take a look at this when you have an opportunity?
Otherwise, you can apply online and just in the comment section say I was at Illinois and I didn't get a time to get through all my target companies. Would very much be interested in applying for a job. Please consider my application.
Yeah, I think on top of that, prioritize. If you hear somebody you really want to see, don't hold them off till the end. You want to be able to spend the most time with those companies that you're really targeting as much as possible. So if you've got a list of 4 or 5, prioritize based on the positions they have available. It comes back to the research you do prior to coming to the fair. And you find one that you really like the position and one, well, I'm kind of interested, I don't know what they have, you may tailor that towards the end. I would just really stress to prioritize.
If you have a list of companies that you definitely want to talk to, should you talk to those companies immediately or talk to some other companies first and then work your way into the companies you want?
Right, so not too long ago, I was in these shoes, and this may be not the answer recruiters want to hear, but I'll be straight honest with you guys. When I went to a career fair, I had a priority list. That afternoon, it's not good to skip class, but if you've got companies you want to see and there's a lot of them, make the time to get to the career fair. If you've got time, it is not bad to warm up with companies that maybe you want to know more about, but you have other priorities. As a recruiter, obviously we don't want to be wasted time with, but from your guys' shoes, there's nothing wrong with getting to know about another company, even though they may not be your target.
I would agree with that. I coached a lot of students on that over the years of you maybe view it as a warm-up, but you don't know what you don't know, right. And you may uncover something during those conversations Absolutely. That hey, I didn't know much about farm credit, and now I'm kind of interested in that. The one other thing I would add to if you're running out of time and you don't get to everyone, utilize the services you guys have here. Illinois is great for that from that standpoint. I mean, the number of focused career services offices this campus has, as opposed to a lot of its basically its peers and anybody across the country, is very unique. They may not have the contact information specifically for the people that were there, but they will have a way to get a hold of that company somehow. And so that's a great way to take the initiative, so to speak, and hey, I didn't make it around to your company, and these folks reach out on your behalf. That's going to go a long way if I get an email or a phone call saying, hey, such and such would really like to talk to you. How do they go about doing that? That's a great resource you guys have at your disposal.
I guess use the map that they'll give you of where your target companies are, and if you've got some that they're on your list, maybe not even the highest, but if they're a company like a Dow or a Deere where the lines tend to form, hit them early and then get to your other target companies next, to be sure that you can get through as many as is possible during your time available. Okay?
All right, great. Thank you so much for all of the advice.